Hey folks, it's time for the quote of the day. And today we are going to be quoting a man who at one point in time was extremely popular, very extremely famous in his particular field. And if you ever watched the movie that was based on some of his writings, then you would know who it is. But if you don't know that, then you have no idea who he is and what he's done. But he has been very, very important in a particular field, and that field is neurosciences. He was a neurologist. His name is Dr. Oliver Sacks. And at one point in time, he was widely considered the most famous neurologist of all time. Now, how did that fame come about? What is it? Well, he also wrote a lot. And at one point in time, called, I guess, kind of like tongue in cheek, but he was called the poet laureate of neurologists because his writings were full of, beautiful lines and almost poetic prose. And I mean, he was very, very, I don't know, artistic in the way that he would talk about these neurological conditions and how patients were, going through these issues. Now we're going to talk about that in a minute, and I think that it's really important that we do. But first, if as far as the movie goes, there was a movie that was released as an Academy Award nominated movie that was released in 1990 that starred Robin Williams and Robert De Niro. Robin Williams played Dr. Oliver Sacks in that movie. And I remember that movie coming out. I remember being really excited about it. I was like 15 years old, but I remember being really excited about it because it was a Robin Williams movie with him playing a serious role. And this was, at that time that was a big deal. And I was floored by it. I absolutely loved it. Now, if you don't know what happens in Awakenings, if you don't know that story, it is true. It is a true story. Obviously, some parts of the movie are a little, zhuzhed up for movie, but he did study. Dr. Oliver Sacks did study. Uh, I can't remember what it's called. Encephalitica. Um, Basically, people that were asleep. I can't remember what it's called, but people that were asleep because they had contracted encephalitis and it had put them into a catatonia, essentially. Uh, and he used all sorts of different things, but primarily music to kind of wake them up and get them moving. Now you've seen videos of this. Everybody's seen videos of the lady that hears the concerto and she starts playing the violin and things like that. Like we've all heard that, and this is a real thing that really happens. And a good portion of the study that went into that came from Dr. Oliver Sacks. This is a man that not only did some of the work, but then wrote about it. Now, his writing is where we have to talk about him a little bit in kind of a negative light. It has come to, be relatively common knowledge that a lot of his writing was even though he was essentially writing case studies, he wasn't writing like medical journal type stuff. He wasn't like doing experimentation saying, "Look, here's the proof of it." It has been looked at by the medical community, and a lot of the way that he describes things and a lot of the way that he puts things forward have been essentially called fabrications, right? Like he basically made up some stuff to make the story better. Which, if you take the stuff that he made up and then you take in Awakenings, whatever he may have made up, and then you take the stuff that Hollywood made up when they made the movie, you end up coming up with a movie that probably wasn't really even close to reality. But a lot of people are very forgiving of that. A lot of people are looking at like his descriptions of places that he's never been to, like he talks about like hospitals and places that he's been that he never went to, and nobody ever remembers him being there. And this is a big name guy at the time, and nobody remembers him ever being there. But he describes these places and these things that he never saw, and so people often wonder if it was all fabricated, but it wasn't. He was a doctor. He did the doctor stuff. It's just that when he decided to write about it, he took whatever, liberties he wanted. And that is a problem because it makes it so that people doubt, what he said and some of the things that he put forward. But you can't really doubt the results of his findings, right? Like you can say, well, he didn't get it this way and he didn't do this thing and he didn't go this place, but he did wake people up, and he did over the course of his career tackle all sorts of different neurological disabilities and things like that, and phenomenon that a lot of people wouldn't even look at, and he tackled them and he came up with ways of dealing with them at the very least, which in some cases that's all you can do. And I think that when people look at him and they understand kind of these, I don't want to say faux pas, but these embellishments that he took, and they hold that against him. I get it. I get it. I'm not somebody who will ever defend lying because I think that it's fucking awful that he did it, but at the same time, I do see the good that he did. You don't, it doesn't take, like, you can embellish the bright shirt that somebody was wearing, or whether or not they were standing in a certain part, or whether or not they said this certain thing that seems, very dramatic. But you cannot embellish the fact that there are a lot of people that, first of all, were absolutely inspired to go into the neurosciences fields because of him. Like, he literally is the cause of many people going into that field. And also, patients actually felt, and it changed their lives. And so when you look at the reality of what he did versus the kind of made up bullshit that he put out there sometimes, I have to lean towards the reality. I just have to. I look at it and I'm moved by that predominantly. So with that in mind, let me get to the quote, because I think that it's really, really important, and I want to have a minute to talk about it. Oliver Sacks, in his book Gratitude, wrote, "There will be no one like us when we are gone, but then there is no one like anyone else ever. When people die, they cannot be replaced. They leave holes that cannot be filled. For it is the fate, the genetic and neural fate of every human being to be a unique individual, to find his own path, to live his own life, and to die his own death." That is important and deep shit. And I think that, when you really, really sit with this, I'm going to read it again, but when you really sit with this, you can't help but be affected by it. I believe that's how I feel about it. I mean, I sit here every day and I put forth something into the world. I try to produce something that's going to inspire somebody or change somebody or help somebody. And the idea that, even though 10 people may watch what I do, I'm the only one doing it. That's a really powerful thing to think about, right? I'm the only one that says what I say. I'm the only one that can do what I do. And that same goes for you. Whatever you do, you're the only one. It's an amazing thing. The more you think about it, the more importance you can put on your everyday normal actions. Now, let me read this again. "There will be no one like us when we are gone, but then there is no one like anyone else ever. When people die, they cannot be replaced. They leave holes that cannot be filled. For it is the fate, the genetic and neural fate of every human being to be a unique individual, to find his own path, to live his own life, and to die his own death." That is so important. I feel like it is important for me also to make sure that people know that Oliver Sacks was a very, very strong atheist. He is what they called a naturalist, actually. There's another quote by him. Let me see if I can find it. I don't remember exactly how he said it, but I think he said something to the effect of, "My religion is nature." He says that's what arouses feelings of wonder and mysticism and gratitude in me. And to that, I mean, that's how I feel too. I do not believe in a God, but I do believe in nature. My feelings of spiritualism, of mysticism, of wonder, they come from nature. And in that, I feel so, I feel a strong kinship to this man because of that. He was also gay, which I think is an important thing for people to point out. He lived his entire life alone up until a certain point where he had a friend, basically a partner, and they lived the rest of their life together. I think he died of eye cancer at like 83. And today is his birthday. So I just wanted to talk about him a little bit, give you that quote, and share some of his life with you. Happy birthday to Oliver Sacks, Dr. Oliver Sacks. And to the rest of you, please take care of yourself, take care of others. I'll talk to you soon.